there is almost always one partner who has a stronger growth orientation. And usually when one partner is really into growth, personal development, doing this work, a lot of times relationships struggle more.
Right. Personalization is an unconscious self-preservation mechanism. Your central nervous system feels like you're threatened. And it's not. None of this is conscious, which is why it's so powerful, because in relationships, we all are unconscious. We'll jump to personalization and then we'll just be communicating with our partner in this attack form.
Conscious couples, business partners, and individuals, welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and relationship expertise to help you consistently cultivate the most magnificent relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges. We'll help you have the courage to be your authentic self, communicate effectively, and constructively resolve conflict.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching, speaking, podcasting, and hosting live events with conscious couples all over the world, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we. Conscious couples and individuals, welcome back to the one and only Conscious Couples podcast in the Conscious Couples studio. Today we have episode 181, Are You Taking Everything Personally? Before we jump into this episode, as always, we were going to give a huge shout out and thank you to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show and so many others. Personal growth, self-improvement, personal development, mental health, spreading it into the world. We all know the world needs it. Sweetheart, we have a quick hitter today. Mm-hmm. We only have 15 minutes on the clock, everybody, which is good because I know you're all busy as well. And Emilia and I just got back from some travel. So before we jump into this episode, what's your intention, my love?
My intention is to help our listeners understand where they might be taking things personally in their relationship and how that's impacting them in the negative way. Yeah. Pretty much that. So with that, my opening story to this effect is something that honestly so many couples struggle with, and they don't realize it when they are taking things personally. So I had this client, and she and her partner were very excited to go to, this was probably 2 years ago or so. They were really excited to go to a country concert, and yeehaw, who does not like to go to a country concert? They were so excited. They were getting ready. They were planning this with their friends, all that happy jazz. So picture them going out, having fun. And she was sharing with me that they're actually really excited. So she and her partner get ready. They're out tailgating and whatnot before the concert. And she decides to decline when the drinks and the rounds start going around. She's like, no thanks. And her partner offers her up a drink. She's like, no, thanks though. Appreciate it. But I'm all set, because prior to that, in the coaching call that she and I had, she was like, yeah, I'm pretty much all done. All done with drinking. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. So she says, I'm done. No thanks. And later on, things start to kind of, get underway as tailgating and all that happy jazz when you start pounding the drinks and whatnot before a country concert happens. Everyone starts kind of getting a little bit of liquid courage. And her partner at the time starts noticing that she's not drinking. Her partner's not drinking. And her partner starts to get a little snippy and is very much so taking her partner's choice to not drink personally. And later on, after the whole country concert happened and they were at home, they actually got into an argument over it. And if you've ever been with someone who had been drinking, there's no way you can have an actual logical argument and or as a couple, help your partner recognize that I said no to the drink and it wasn't about you. It wasn't that I didn't want to drink with you or have fun with you or our friends. It was about I wanted to make healthier choices for me. And unfortunately, her partner in that argument when they got home, her partner took this, you think that you're better than us, you think that you're more superior because you said no to drinking, and started to make this whole big thing of her own personal choices not to drink. And we've all been in a situation where we've made a choice to honor what we value and what we care about, and our partner might take that a little bit too personally as a personal attack, when in all reality underneath it, the partner that was attacking her was very insecure about the fact that she's always struggled to quit drinking. And she took her partner's healthier choice to end drinking as a personal attack and kind of flipped the narrative around how that was. It was something that her partner chose to, I guess attack her when it really had nothing to do with her partner. It was about her honoring her own choices.
Okay, so for anyone out there watching or listening, any time you have a deep-rooted insecurity about something, you are more likely to take anything around that subject more personally.
Yeah.
And your unconscious and subconscious is ready to defend itself and or attack, and it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn trauma responses, or what are those?
Stress responses.
Stress responses.
Yep.
And in this story, the reason why we shared it is because every one of us has been in a situation where we've been on the end of that, or we've been guilty of that. Mm-hmm. And so one partner is insecure about her inability to quit drinking, deep down wants to quit drinking but doesn't believe she should. She also is now sitting here thinking to herself, okay, well, if you're quitting drinking and I'm not going to do that, are you still going to love me? Is this relationship still going to work? And ironically, that's what happens, is she's actually almost guaranteeing the relationship doesn't work by allowing that narrative to take root. Okay,
Yeah.
So you have a definition of personalization. I want to share this real quick. So I first heard the definition of personalization when you and I were coaching two individuals, and their communication was doing this.
Yeah.
And you pulled up a definition live on Zoom of personalization, of the definition of it. And you basically said that the male in this relationship is personalizing everything, and it's stopping them from being able to actually communicate effectively. And I know there's been times in you and I's relationship where we would personalize when I'm actually just trying to learn.
Yeah.
And so if you've ever been asked the question, well, why? Why is that? You can take that one of two ways. Why, as in that is you questioning me, versus why, as in actually trying to learn. So we're going to give you the definition of personalization, and we want everyone out there watching or listening to think of a time in their life where, number one, you were the receiver of personalization when it's like, whoa, apparently we're not allowed to talk about that subject. Or the opposite, where you were the one who was personalizing.
So personalization in a nutshell is when you take excessive responsibility over events or situations. So in that example, partner A, the one who decided to quit drinking, that was her personal choice. Partner B, the one that was personalizing that situation, that decision, was the perpetrator of personalization. Okay, so partner B personalized partner's A decision to not drink. And like you were just saying, we've all been in a situation where we've been attacked as a result of that partner B's perception of a situation or an event that our partner decided to do something different.
So what's the definition?
So the definition is excessive responsibility taking over events or situations. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, so my question to that would be, what about the people who take no responsibility? And so this is the problem with things like this. And Emilia's been studying this stuff for a really long time, but personalization is taking excessive responsibility over situations or events. What about people who take no responsibility? Like, how do you know where the line is?
That's a great question. I would say that's the opposite of that is depersonalization, where you're deflecting.
Okay.
Deflecting is a great example of that. So one end of the spectrum, you're deflecting responsibility, which is situations or events, right? You take zero responsibility. So therefore you deflect every essence of it.
So that's the you do you, I don't really give a shit, whatever, versus this.
Yeah, your choices don't impact me. Like the events or situations, I have no personal stake or agency or responsibility in them.
Okay. All right. So in an intimate relationship that you're trying to build a life together, build your dreams and goals together, you can either overly personalize everything or not care at all.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's a spectrum.
Yes.
Okay. So from 0 to 10, where do you tend to be on that spectrum? Do you tend to be overly, because here's the thing. A lot of times people would say things like, oh yeah, no worries. Like you do you, I'll do me. And but wait a minute, your decision to drink is affecting my decision to not be around certain people or whatever it is. So let's have that discussion.
Hi, my name is Jason Blackstock, and this is my wife, Lisa. We got connected with Alan and Emilia a few months ago through friends. We were trying to look for ways to strengthen our relationship.
And right away, we just noticed with Alan and Emilia how they made us feel so calm, and like everything that they did with us was gentle, and it felt so like we could let our guard down right away. And that was something that allowed us to open up and just get closer so quickly. So
yeah, I felt it was very easy to connect with them, and their intuition for our situation was very surprising to me. Both past and present, they just knew us.
Yeah, they picked up on things that we didn't even think they would. They just, even in our mannerisms and the way we would look at each other at certain points in the conversation, it was just really cool to feel like they understood us, and it really gave us all the tools that we needed to work on us when we weren't talking directly to them. So we had like homework to do and things to work on, and it really elevated our relationship in big ways. And I think we're both really excited to keep working with Alan and Emilia, because you're never done working on your relationship, and I just feel like that is, if we're good, then the rest of our world is good with our children and our 4 kids. So
yeah, we're very grateful that we met Alan and Emilia and are looking forward to the future.
So one of the things that's really interesting, at least from my perspective with personalization, is we forget, like even as mature adults, we forget that everyone's in their own me loop. It's like everyone's ego or consciousness is always revolving around them. It's about me, 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 me. And as a result of that, there's a lot of fear and a lot of concern around rejection to belong with other people, which is one of the reasons why, to feel like you have a sense of control of the situation, your unconscious starts to personalize things.
Okay, so here's another example. So there was someone recently who personalized the fact that I like to work late. It wasn't Emilia, it was someone else. And they took that personal because that affected their ability to spend quality time. And how do we figure out, because when you say everyone's me, 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 what my brain is always doing sincerely, and this is how you are a good leader and a good business owner, is you're always trying to find the win, win, win. Even right now, I'm trying to find the win for you, listener or viewer, the win for Emilia and the win for me, and try to make the whole greater than the sum of its parts. So I'm trying to take what you've learn it myself so that I benefit, maybe give you a deeper understanding, but also make sure the listener or the viewer takes something away.
Correct.
So I actually don't think, I know that I personalize at times unconsciously with certain things, especially when I feel attacked, but at the end of the day, I don't agree that everyone is doing the me, 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 me thing, but I do think most people are.
Yeah, like 95 to 99% of people are. And here's the thing, it's not just an all or nothing thinking. You might be, to what you were mentioning earlier, there might be an area of insecurity that you might be overly personalizing things. So for example, in past episodes, we've talked about when you try to articulate math concepts or math theory to people in applied mathematics, that your attempt to try to communicate what you know and in your brain, just like anyone else, right? What you know, but the other person on the other end doesn't know, that's very frustrating. And so there might be an insecurity underneath there, or a frustration. And as a result, there might be a personalizing when someone doesn't get it, or they say something that has you in this feedback loop of we mentioned it earlier, like any sort of pain or rejection, or when you're personalizing something when you struggle to take feedback. Like that's a really, really good sign. And everyone can think of someone in their head where they're like, oh, okay, when we talk about fitness or we talk about food,
I know
that person, they can't go near that conversation, or they cannot take feedback there because like they are personalizing things.
Because they're insecure.
Yeah.
So when you're self-conscious, so the opposite, so there's others conscious and self-conscious.
Yes.
And when you're really, really self-conscious about a certain topic, you might be personalizing in your relationship that area.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
And a lot of times family, all this kind of stuff, this is happening. It's not just intimate relationships as well. Okay, so because we have, my watch is not.
3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Because we have 3 minutes and we got to jump here. what would be the tangible takeaway that you would recommend? So what I would recommend to every listener, every viewer, conscious couples to conscious singles, is to look at the areas of your life where you might be taking things personally because you're insecure on an unconscious and subconscious level. And more importantly, maybe be aware of where your partner is the touchy. Where is your partner touchy? And if you're at least aware of that, then you can go into it knowing that this might be a touchy topic, and then recognizing personalization, and then say, there's de-escalating things. You'll say to me, Alan, I'm not attacking you. I just really want to learn.
Yeah.
And then I'll go,
right.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually 0.32% and, that kind of thing.
And that's exactly, it helps diffuse the personalization and help you recognize, kind of get back into your body of like, you don't need to be on the attack, because personalization is an unconscious self-preservation mechanism, because your central nervous system feels like you're threatened. And it's not, and none of this is conscious, which is why it's so powerful, because in relationships, our unconscious will jump to personalization, and then we'll just be communicating with our partner in this attack form. And our partner's like, whoa, where did this come from?
So here's the problem. And this is really what I want to make sure we bring up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are being attacked.
This is fair.
So how do you know when to actually take it personal? Because I was attacked this weekend, and it's obvious I should be defensive and actually put up some self-preservation. So how does someone know when they actually are being attacked versus, listen, take it easy, I'm just trying to learn?
Yeah, well, that's, from my perspective, a whole different conversation that we don't have time with. But what I think would be helpful for the listeners is to understand when personalization is happening, what is absent. What is absent is curiosity. Like, hands down, if there's no like genuine, sincere curiosity, you know that you're in a personalization conversation.
Nice.
So what I would say as a tangible takeaway, number one, notice the pattern. Notice the pattern of what specific conversations do you notice you feel like you're in psychological or conversational warfare, because you're always going to feel like exhausted after the conversation. That's where you know the person on the other side is personalizing whatever you're saying. And that's an area maybe perhaps
or that you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where boundaries can be really, really helpful. Number two, what I find, if you're the person that struggles with personalization, what is really helpful, because of the fact that this me loop is happening in your unconscious awareness, is to do what's called a thought challenging technique rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is, what is the alternative evidence that I have here, or what else could be true? So if you have, for example, going back to the story earlier, partner personalizes, oh my God, she quit drinking and she thinks that she's better than us, right? That's the thought that she's having.
Unconsciously.
She's
not consciously having that
That's
thought.
why when you have number one, you start to notice the pattern. Like, that's the first step, because you can't change something you're not aware of.
Yeah.
Number two is, what else could be true? So if she were to literally use that thought challenge and recognize that thought going through and be like, well, what else could be true? She'd be like, oh, okay, I do know she's extremely conscious about her health and she wants to get better, and she's been talking about that she wants to quit drinking for a long time. Like, that opens up and brings in the curiosity, right? Like I said. And so when you can do that, number two is bringing in alternative evidence that helps expand the scope of what your personalization lens is really looking at. It's like the difference between, a telescope looking at one star versus like just opening up at the sky with your two eyes. It's a big difference there. And so number one is notice the pattern. Number two is what else could be the possibility here? What else could be possible here? And then number three is, honestly, it's like, I think that gratitude to the part of you that's logging the data is really helpful, because that puts you back into a gratitude state, which then has you open to connection.
Okay. So the last thing I'm going to say, I know we got to jump here, is when it comes to personal growth, what Emilia and I have found on the Conscious Couples podcast is there is almost always one partner who has a stronger growth orientation. And usually when one partner is really into growth, personal development books, Conscious Couples podcast, they start going to therapy, they get coaches, they start learning, growing, teaching, doing this work, a lot of times relationships struggle more. I think it's because typically a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, the fixed mindset tends to personalize everything.
Facts.
Okay.
That is,
and that's what we're going to do a future episode on at some point, is why the fixed mindset personalizes everything. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Which is going to be awesome.
That'll
so
be
thank
great.
you all so much. We really appreciate it, as always. Relationship talks coaching. is something Emilia and I do. We actually have 2 people we're very excited that are just about to sign on. It's basically we're going to help you and your partner achieve your goals and dreams together and make sure you're growing together and not apart. And also we have an event coming up, realigning with your partner on life's most important things, goals in conflicts, core values in conflicts, beliefs in conflict. Making sure that you 2 are on the same page is really, really critical. Is there anything you want to add before we go?
The only thing, it's on Wednesday, which usually we have those on Thursday. So shout out to the Wednesday. It's August 20th. That will be the date. So the link to register is in the show notes.
Okay.
And that's it.
Once you register, put that on your calendar, and then you'll know the correct day and time. As always, it's not about you or me. It's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please check the show notes to connect with us and say hello on social media.
If you and your partner resonated with this episode, please leave us a 5-star review at the link in the show notes and share this with someone you love. Until next time, it's not about you or me, it's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.